What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the very last division here, going through my 2019 NFL draft grades, breaking down who, in my opinion, got the best value, the best players to help their team win moving forward. I just want to, mention my favorite sentiment with the comments in these videos is watch the video. If I didn't like all of your players that you liked, then you say, what's the point of doing draft grades? We don't know if these guys are going to be good anyway. Or you just, attack me and say, oh, you've never worked in the NFL. What do you know? Obviously, we don't know who all is going to be good or bad. But I do know that I've spent a long time watching film, spent a lot of time breaking down these teams, their needs, their scheme fits. So I'm just here to talk about who I think got the best value, the best players to help them win moving forward. You can agree or disagree, that's fine. I do think that was a little tangent that was necessary. So this is the last video here. After this, I'm going to get to work on that Madden roster. Probably going to take the rest of the day off here, catch up on some sleep. But I do appreciate you guys not asking me for updates on that roster. It'll be done when it's done, probably Thursday, maybe Friday. We'll see. So don't worry, we'll get those rookies in Madden 19 soon enough. Also really looking forward to, after that, doing my rebuild of the Denver Broncos, that series coming up here on YouTube, and as well my deep dive series, which in my opinion is the best content I do every year, diving deep into every individual team and doing my power rankings reveal over the summer. So super excited to get into that as we evolve here from the NFL draft. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss all of that good stuff, and like this video, please, if you enjoy the content. Easiest way to support the channel. So let's get into it here. The Indianapolis Colts. Now, they grabbed Rock Ya-Sin after moving down, and credit a lot of other people. They said Rock Ya-Sin, a great fit here for the Colts. Some people had first-round grades on Rock Ya-Sin. Now, I had a third-round grade on him, but I did say his upside, something like a Josh Norman. He can be an elite zone corner. He doesn't really have the ideal speed or quickness to be a good man-to-man corner, but like we've seen with guys like Richard Sherman, Josh Norman, who in the past have fallen because they lack those ideal athletic traits, they can come into the right system and be really dominant corners. So I definitely recognize that with Rock Ya-Sin. And what I love here about what the Colts did is they didn't take him in the first round, where he is not a first round prototypical corner. He does not have those elite traits. He's got good athleticism, but I love that they move down, collect some more assets, and then take their guy that they clearly believed in. So, and the other thing is Chris Ballard, after last year's draft, has earned the benefit of the doubt. So while I had a third round grade on Rock Ya-Sin, and with Byron Murphy gone at this point, I do think this was a great pick for them. And with the help around him and what this Colts team has really done with a lot of these kind of under-the-radar defensive players, I actually believe that Rock Ya-Sin's going to be a very, very good corner. And if he ended up being like a Josh Norman and the best corner in this class, it wouldn't really surprise me. So I'm going to give this pick an A, even though it didn't fit with my third-round grade of him. I also am never going to criticize a team for taking cornerback, which I think is an undervalued position in the NFL right now. So then with the 17th pick in the second round, they grab Ben Bonnigu. Now, I did have him clustered in that, kind of group of about 10 third to fourth round edge rushers that I've talked about. But Bonnigu, his kind of explosiveness and potential definitely stood out from that group. So I love this pick for them. Value-wise, there may have been other spots, some players falling that could have brought a little more excitement. But coming in here a little more raw, he's going to learn some finesse aspects from Justin Houston, some power aspects from Jabal Sheard. He's got all of that ability in him. He doesn't have to start because you got those two. You got Kamoko Toure. Pretty sure the other guy they drafted out of Ohio State is there as well on the edge. They're in a really good spot to take a player like this and develop him. So a good, not amazing pick, but I still liked it a lot. And then at 227, you got to love Paris Campbell here. Andrew Luck, we did see, I think it's fair to say, a drop-off in kind of the overall mentality and just physical ability of Andrew Luck to go deep. I do think he lost a little velocity. Now, he does still have the ability to go deep. You don't need a cannon arm a la Ryan Fitzpatrick to be an effective deep ball thrower. But he's acknowledged that let's get rid of the ball quicker. Let's let the receivers do a little more work. He's gotten better time to throw the ball as well. So Paris Campbell is an elite catch and run weapon. He is thick, 6'1", over 200 pounds, but he runs like the wind. And he wasn't really used as a deep threat at Ohio State, but I don't see anything in his game. I don't think he has bad hands or runs poor routes. I think he was just used in a very specific short game role at Ohio State. I'm really excited to see what Andrew Luck and Frank Reich have dialed up for Paris Campbell, because I do think he can develop as a deep threat and could be the long-term replacement in that role for T.Y. Hilton. So I loved this pick. I think this was their best pick of the draft. Then you move forward. The rest of the draft here kind of meh for me, but I did really like those first three, and this team doesn't have any glaring holes outside of getting that corner and another receiving threat. So a little more flexibility, and you're going to kind of trust Chris Ballard at this point. But they grabbed Bobby Okereke. I didn't love this pick. Now, he had a great eye for Darius Leonard last year. He saw something in Okereke. We'll see how he pans out. They could use another, starting caliber linebacker in there. Personally, if they would have grabbed Julian Love here, even another wide receiver threat like a Riley Ridley, I would have been even more excited here. But they go linebacker. It's fine. I did not necessarily see him as a third-round talent. We'll see how it pays off. Then they go Kari Willis. Excellent fit here. Now, they have some thumping safeties like him already, like Clayton Geathers, Matthias Fairley. And, in the fourth round, you don't necessarily have to pick starters, but this could give them a cheap 4-year replacement, maybe after this year, or a 3-year replacement with 3 years of that rookie year deal left. And he could very well do exactly what those guys have done for this system. And then they grab Marvell Tell. Good value here, a plus athlete, pretty raw, needs to develop. I think, they may have already announced this, but it would make sense that the plan here is to convert him to a corner in this scheme, kind of like what the Seahawks did in a fairly similar scheme, to convert Trey Flowers to corner. A safety at USC, but he's 6'2", about 196, good long speed, could turn into a good zone corner opposite of Rock Ya-Sin. Corner, a very big need for this team. Kind of why I didn't love the Okereke pick with Julian Love, who's a dominant slot corner, but it seems they want to fit that kind of big Seattle mold with the corners here on the outside. Then they grab a linebacker out of Tarleton State. Did not make my draft board of over 400 players. Well, we'll see what he turns into. Jerry Green, an edge out of Mississippi State. Kind of quick feet, good in coverage, doesn't really have that explosiveness or bend to be a good pass rusher. We'll see if he even makes this team, which is a deep edge room. Then I love the Jackson Barton pick. He made my sleepers video before the draft. Doesn't really look the part, but good technique, lengthy guy. Just going to add some fantastic depth at tackle. This is one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and I think it's important to keep adding depth to that group. And then they also grab a center here at the very end of the draft, Javon Patterson out of Ole Miss. A little insurance if anything should happen to Ryan Kelly. So at the end of the day, they did kind of do their thing, especially with those first two picks. Didn't necessarily get the ideal value there, but they've earned the benefit of the doubt after what they did last year. I think they filled their three biggest needs with those first three picks. Could have, I think, rounds 3 through 5 gotten some better players, but we'll see how they pan out. At the end of the day, we're going A- here for the Indianapolis Colts. This team should be poised to not just take charge and win this division next year, but compete with the Patriots and the Chiefs, who are kind of a nerfed version of what they were last year right now. So this is going to be a fun team to see how far they climb in my deep dive power rankings. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay draft. Josh Allen kind of falls to them at 7. I think they said he's too good of a player for us to pass up. They kind of have overkill on the edge right now. You got Calais Campbell, who of course can push inside to get Josh Allen on the field on third downs. You've got Yannick Ngakoue, Josh Allen now. Malik Jackson is gone. Personally, I actually thought Ed Oliver would have been a better pick for them. I think Josh Allen could turn into a very good player here in Jacksonville, and if he turns into an all-pro player, it's not going to matter. But I look at that team and, they're going to miss, I think, what Malik Jackson offered pressure-wise up the middle. I like what Calais Campbell can do off the edge. Ed Oliver, to me, was a better prospect than Josh Allen. If you're looking at this as a value pick, I think there was more value to be had in Ed Oliver. I'm not going to rip the pick. I'm giving it a B. The other comment I have is this team going to regret not taking Dwayne Haskins, who I did not expect to fall here to 7? They have Nick Foles, yes. This team's done a pretty terrible job. I don't think that's, opinionated to say a terrible job with the quarterback room. Going back to Blaine Gabbert, Blake Bortles, I don't think Nick Foles is going to be any different, in my opinion. I think there's a chance they end up regretting not going with Dwayne Haskins, who could just absolutely tear it up in Washington. At the end of the day, you need to find a quarterback. And this team really spent this draft trying to relive 2017 as opposed to assessing what their strengths are, but also, acknowledging their weaknesses. And offense should, I think, have been a bigger, focal point for this team. They did grab Jawan Taylor in the second round, pretty similar to like the Myles Jack pick when he fell to them in the second round. So they grabbed Jawan Taylor. He should start at either tackle position, whatever one they feel they need the most. If he stays healthy, this is going to be a steal, but that did seem to be the concern. So they've, received dividends, taken risks on injured players in the past, like Myles Jack here at the top of the second. We'll see how it pays off with Jawan Taylor, keeping him in state. And then this was possibly the worst pick in the draft, in my opinion. Josh Oliver, athletic, 40 time, but he's stiff. When I watched his game, he just was kind of walking around, didn't seem to really have any instincts. I had a 7th round grade on him as a developmental late round flyer. Foster Moreau still available, Jay Sternberger available. I just cannot get behind this pick. In my opinion, a wasted pick. We'll see if he works out, but I just do not like this at all. Then they grab a safety that they like. Quincy Williams out of Murray State did not make my board. Both their safeties from last year gone, so they're gonna have to find a starter there. Could be Quincy Williams. Excited to see what he is and what I missed about him here in the 3rd round. And then they grab Raquel Armstead, a halfback out of Temple. Kind of a shifty guy. I had him pegged as kind of a 3rd down back, which is fine. They need that role. TJ Yeldon gone, Corey Grant gone right now. They needed someone to catch the ball out of the backfield because it's not going to be Leonard Fournette or Alfred Blue. Little critical of this pick, though. I thought Darwin Thompson out of Utah State was a clear-cut better option who the Chiefs took as that 3rd down back. I thought that Rodney Anderson would have been a better pick, who's a high upside 3-down back with injury questions. So I agree they needed this player, and he could turn into a good player. But I just disagree with the pick a little bit. Then Gardner Minshew out of Washington State. Good pick here to get a backup in there. I think if anything did happen to Nick Foles, he can kind of run that short to intermediate game. Do exactly what he did at Washington State. Just kind of get the ball in the hands of his receivers and hope they can create first down. So I like that pick. Then they grab Dontavius Russell, add to that D-line depth out of Auburn. So, not really any bad picks other than the Josh Oliver pick. But for me, they're just trying to kind of squeeze what they can out of that 2017 window as opposed to kind of moving forward with what they have on defense, but, kind of reshaping this team like I think they should. This division is incredibly competitive. Going back to the Nick Foles thing, I don't think they're going to be able to replicate what they had in 2017. That was a special thing. So, this draft, it's going to help them be competitive. They'll probably win 7 or 8 games next year. But at the end of the day, are we going to look back on this and say that, yeah, it was kind of a wasted draft? So, B- for the Jags. Then we've got the Houston Texans. This team kind of surprised a lot of people, grabbing the Alabama State tackle, Titus Howard, in the 1st round. I like that they went tackle. That was the clearest need for them. Got to buy more time. Allow that offense to be more traditional and not just rely on Deshaun Watson to kind of spitball it under pressure all the time. So they went tackle with 2 of their first 3 picks, which I like. Was he the right player? Jawan Taylor available. Injury questions for Taylor, so I get why they stayed away from him. There's other players I like as well. Howard was my 10th tackle. A bit more of a project, but if they can develop him quickly over the summer, he could definitely work out. So we're going to go see here. I was a bit of a head scratcher, but definitely in need. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. And then they grabbed Lonnie Johnson. Again, a C. Corners were kind of flying off the board. This team definitely needed another corner. I don't know if Lonnie Johnson was the right pick, though. To me, he should have gone to more of a, Seattle-style scheme. He's stiff, long, slower corner. This team struggled to run with receivers last year down the field, and I don't know if that's going to be what Lonnie Johnson is able to do here. And maybe they move him to safety or something, but I just was not a big fan of this pick. Thought there was much better players available. Then they did grab Max Sharping, tackle out of Northern Illinois. I think he's a better player than Titus Howard myself. Just doesn't have those ideal physical traits, but his technique is much better. He's a little stronger. So it'll be interesting to see, where these guys end up playing. I would assume Howard is the left and Sharping's the right. But if they work out this draft, you're going to look back on it as a success. Then they grabbed Cahill Waring, tight end out of San Diego State. They drafted 2 tight ends last year. Waring, a big body kind of jump ball guy, needs to improve on his blocking a little bit, but big physical receiver, fine. I'm getting to the point in this draft, though, where who's running the ball for this team? The juice of getting a good running back is going to come in the 3rd and 4th rounds. I'm looking at guys like Damian Harris, Bryce Love, Rodney Anderson. You want to go another year of Lamar Miller here? Okay, I'm not taking a running back early for most teams, but 3rd, 4th round, if I need a running back, that's where I'm looking. And to grab another tight end here who's probably going to be a 3rd or a 4th string this year, not a fan of this pick really. Then you grab Charles Omenihu, good pick out of Texas, kind of an athletic defensive lineman, hybrid type. He's going to fit well in this scheme. He's going to move around, learn some of those versatile aspects from J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. And then Xavier Crawford, cornerback out of Central Michigan, high upside, late round pick. Not going to complain about that at corner. And then they do grab a running back out of Texas A&M, Cullen Gillespie. Don't see him really being an impact here, but definitely a need. So I'm going C for the Texans. Just nothing really exciting. They definitely grabbed 2 tackles early, which they had to do. Other than that, nothing about this draft really gets me too excited. I don't know if they improved on the defensive side of the ball at all, and I don't think they gave Deshaun Watson anything else to work with outside of, better pass protection, which is a good thing and the thing that's keeping this graded a C. But I don't know if they maximized on value with those tackle picks. So then the Tennessee Titans finishing these grades up with where the draft started here in Tennessee. Jeffrey Simmons, I loved this pick. Really what we've been saying about the Titans for the last 2 years is they have a ton of depth, but they need, I think, just one more star player. No one on the offensive side of the ball has really reached that. Outside of Jarrell Casey, maybe Kevin Byard, this team's been really lacking kind of another star impact player. When you go into play teams, you're going to circle 3 or 4 guys, whether it's on offense or defensive. We need to know where this guy's at and game plan for this guy. The Titans didn't really have that outside of Jarrell Casey, and just one interior defensive lineman's not going to just destroy a game plan. So they needed more true, superstar impact players. And Jeffrey Simmons, coming back from that ACL injury at some point, is going to be that player, in my opinion. He could play this year, and if this team's getting hot and looking like a playoff team, he could start 4 games in December and, maybe even be full speed come playoff time. That's a little less likely. I think the more likely scenario is Tennessee, scrapping for playoffs, may or may not make it, but they just kind of redshirt Jeffrey Simmons and then come into the next season, maybe with a new quarterback, we'll see. But, with an elite, new player up there up front. Then you've got A.J. Brown. Excellent pick. We had at times mocked him, actually pretty frequently to this team. Excellent fit. Mariota not able to throw the ball deep. He doesn't look deep. He doesn't have the accuracy deep. Doesn't have the arm talent to throw the ball deep. So get a big-bodied slot receiver in there. He's going to do some of the things that Delanie Walker does in terms of, crossers over the middle, running up the seam, really good physical catch after the run after the catch guy. And, this is going to allow Corey Davis to fully exist on the outside. These two are going to have a nice chemistry together. Corey Davis can kind of be the DK Metcalf to A.J. Brown like they had at Ole Miss. Corey Davis, a different player, but same kind of idea. He's also going to run block in the slot, which is very valuable for this team that is going to try to run the crap out of the football. And then speaking of running the ball, they grab a guard here in the 3rd round. This is a huge need for this team, was a weakness for them last year. I had a 5th to a 6th round grade on Nate Davis, but they saw something in him. Definitely spent a lot more time evaluating this guy out of NC Charlotte than I did, so I very well could have just missed something here. So good to get a guard that I am assuming in the 3rd round here they expect to start. Then Amani Hooker, defensive back out of Iowa. Great ball skills. Is he a strong safety? Is he a nickel corner? I don't know if he's going to start right away, but to learn here from both Malcolm Butler and Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan, a very good comparison for Amani Hooker in the nickel there as a slower but physical defensive back. And then this is an excellent 5th round pick. This is exactly what you're looking for in the 5th round. DeAndre Walker. Is he going to be a star? No, he's not. But I had, written in my details about him, 1st and 2nd down edge defender, someone that you take off the field for more of a pass rushing specialist. And, well, they have Cameron Wake here, who can't really play 1,000 snaps anymore at his age. So you're going to start DeAndre Walker on the edge, and he's going to be an ideal run defender. He can get after the quarterback a little bit, but he can drop into coverage as well. I think this is an excellent pick here on the edge, a big need for them, and that's going to allow Cam Wake to come in on 3rd down, maybe 2nd and long, and get after the quarterback and not really have to worry about too much outside of that. So I loved this pick. Excellent value here in the 5th round. Then they grabbed David Long. I like this pick as well. Now, they have a pretty deep linebacker room there in Tennessee, but you can never have enough fast linebackers. At worst, he's going to be a nasty kickoff cover guy, but really good burst in short areas. Very rare in that regard, and he's kind of similar to like Jayon Brown, who they did a really good job developing. So David Long, I think, is going to be kind of the backup to Jayon Brown, who is really good in blitz packages, can do some nice things in coverage. Good pick there for the Titans. So overall, we're giving this draft an A. I think it was one of the 5 or 10 best drafts in the NFL for their hometown crowd there in Nashville. So that is going to do it. Please, guys, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe to hang around for my deep dive power ranking reveals, as well as my Denver Broncos rebuild and plenty more content. So cheers as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.